Welcome to this question. I just want to highlight to you that IFRS 12 is not covered in this question. Not because it's not important, but because I wanted to spend quite a lot of time in terms of our new IFRS 3 definition. Guys, IFRS 12 is extremely important. Therefore, please spend some time, work through the standard. You will get this in either one of your tests or you will get a question on this in our exam. Therefore, please ensure that your standard is properly highlighted and underlined. Now, when you look at this question, we have 15 minutes to read the question. I recommend, as always, identify the time when you start with your reading. Identify when you need to be finished with the reading. This is important because when you look at the requirement, your first step will be to allocate the minutes to each section, which is your marks times 1.5. And you need to start with part A at 8. Therefore, you need to be finished with part A at 8:15, B 8:27, and so forth. And you need to be finished with this question at 9. Now, why is this important to me? If you only include the minutes, every time when you look at your watch, you have to recalculate the remaining minutes and identify again what time do you need to be finished with this section. Then you will do this again for part B, again for part C, and so forth. And this will waste a lot of time. Yes, initially to indicate the time that you need to be finished will take a few additional seconds. But guys, this will save you time when you actually do the sections. Then I always indicate to you that you are allowed to have your revision pages with you. Why? Because when you work through this, I want you to add additional details to the revision page. But guys, if you are not going to study the revision page, please do not use this at all when you do these tests. Then, or these questions, then please ensure that you have your IFRS with you. You need to practice making use of your IFRS standards. Right, 15 minutes reading time, ignore that. Upgrade My Skill Limited is a South African-based competitive training provider focused on providing industry and job-specific skills, assessments, and training interventions that will equip people to access work opportunities across all industry sectors. Upgrade My Skill Limited invested in a portfolio of diversified training entities to increase their market share in the industry. The financial year end of Upgrade My Skill Limited and all the companies in the group is 31 December. The training programs provided by the companies in the group are aligned with the South African Qualifications Authority, SAQA, and accredited with SETA, the Sector Education and Training Authority Quality Assurance Departments. Upgrade My Skills Limited Group currently provide training programs registered within the following SETAs within the group: our Agri SETA, our ETDPS SETA, our IN SETA, and our MES SETA. During the current financial year, Upgrade My Skills Limited entered into negotiations to acquire interests in additional companies. Investment proposal in Share Skills Limited. Upgrade My Skills acquired 10% interest in Share Skills Limited on 1 January 2020 for a cash consideration of 300,000. The main shareholder of Share Skills is still Share World Limited, who owns 90% of the shares and has control over Share Skills in accordance with IFRS 10 Consolidated financial statements. On the same day, Upgrade My Skills acquired an option for 50,000 Rand to purchase an additional 20% of the shares in Share Skills. The option can be exercised at any time between 1 January 2020 and 31 December 2020 at a strike price of 1 million. Therefore, they will have to pay that 1 million when they exercise the option. Now, the board of directors of Upgrade My Skills is currently considering whether to exercise the option. However, as the profit forecast for Share Skills is below expectation, it is highly unlikely that the board will grant approval to exercise the option in the foreseeable future. Therefore, we need to identify, guys, that will most probably not have that 1 million to exercise the option. Furthermore, Upgrade My Skill will not be able to exercise the option before 30 April 2020. as the available funds for the investment will only become available after that date. Do you see, guys? Therefore, they might have the 1 million after 3 April. Upgrade My Skill qualifies its 10% investment in share skills as a financial asset in accordance with IFRS 9 financial instruments in its separate financial statements and irrecoverably elected to present subsequent changes in the fair value of the investment in OCI in mark-to-market reserve. Okay, guys, now they didn't indicate anything about tax, but you need to know the tax will be based on our CGT rate. Training Force Limited. Upgrade My Skills purchases training assets from Training Force Limited. The acquired set of activities and assets include a specialized learning management system, the LMS software, training equipment, which is specialized training computers, and a training center, the building. The training equipment can be used at any training venue and is not fixed to the training center of Training Force Limited. The purchase of the learning management system, the LMS, has a dual purpose. UMS will be able to add all relevant training content to the learning management system, which will improve their current training programs. The learning management system can also be used by other entities and on a monthly subscription can be charged by UMS for the use of the LMS. To date, Training Force has not yet signed any monthly subscription contracts with any customers. The specialized learning management system requires an organized workforce that has the necessary skills, knowledge, and experience of the system. Each of the assets acquired had a similar fair value. UMS do not acquire any employees, other assets, other processes, or other activities. Before the acquisition date, Training Force Limited discontinued providing training due to the owner falling ill and had to cease all training activities of the company. Right, guys? We are able to identify IFRS 3. We will have to identify if this is most probably a business or not. Then Accredited Training Limited. Upgrade My Skills owns a 10% interest in Accredited Training Limited. Accredited Training Limited specializes in providing training within the services sector through their wide range of services CETA accredited training programs. At 1 May 2020, UMS purchased a further 75% interest in the Accredited Training Limited for a cash consideration of 2250000. On this date, UMS obtained control over Accredited Training Limited in accordance with IFRS 10. The fair value of Accredited Training Limited shares is 45 Rand per share on 1 May, with a total of 200,000 shares in issue. The extracted trial balance of Accredited Training Limited are shown in the table below at their fair values on the relevant dates. Right, 1 May 2020, this is the at acquisition date, and 31 December, this is year end. We're able to identify retained earnings, long-term liabilities, PPE, financial asset, intangible assets, cash and cash equivalents, trade and other receivables, payables, and a deferred tax liability. Right, e-learning limited. Upgrade My Skills plans to acquire 160,000 ordinary shares in e-learning limited. E-learning limited's equity consists of the following: ordinary share capital 200,000 shares, 400,000 Rand, 12% preference shares, 40,000 at 80,000, and retained earnings we don't know. The preference shares give the holders the right to a preferential dividend before the payment of any dividend to the ordinary shareholders. On liquidation of e-learnings limited, the preference shareholders are entitled to receive their initial investment back before the remainder of the net assets are distributed to the ordinary shareholders. The preference shareholders do not have any further rights on liquidation. Each ordinary share entitles the shareholder to one vote, and the preference shareholders do not have any voting rights. In accordance with the contractual agreement, UMS, Upgrade My Skill, acquired the ordinary shares on 1 July 2020 and exercised control as defined in IFRS 10. over eLearnings Limited from that date. On 1 July 2020, the fair value of eLearnings Limited ordinary shares and preference shares amounted to R15.60 per share and R12.50 per share respectively. The acquisition of eLearnings Limited met the definition of acquiring a business as defined in IFRS 3. Upgrade My Skills elected to measure the non-controlling interest in eLearnings at fair value, remember, either at fair value or at proportionate share, right? If at fair value, it will share in the goodwill. If at proportionate share, it will not share in the goodwill. Requirement A, prepare a report to the Board of Directors of Upgrade My Skill Limited discussing with reasons the appropriate recognition of the investment in Share Skills Limited and the consolidated financial statements of the Upgrade My Skill Limited Group for the year ended 31 December 2020. Remember, a report, therefore a template. Your discussion should be based on the prescriptions of IS 28, Investment and Associates and Joint Ventures. Right, guys, they actually tell you to look at IS 28. 9 marks, 1 mark communication skills, not free but easy. B, Upgrade My Skill Limited opted to apply the concentration test to purchase of the training assets from Training Force Limited in terms of IFRS 3.B7A. Discuss in terms of IFRS 3.B7B if the concentration test is met or not. Conclude if this acquisition results in acquisition of a business or not. 7 marks, 1 mark, easy, not free communication skills. C, Upgrade My Skills Limited did not opt to apply the concentration test to the purchase of training assets from Training Force Limited in terms of IFRS 3 B7A. Discuss in terms of IFRS 3 B8 to B12D if the results in acquisition of a business or not. D, calculate the fair value of gross assets acquired of Accredited Training Limited in terms of IFRS 3 B7B, A and B and conclude if the concentration test has been met. 10 marks. E, discuss the measurement of the non-controlling interest in eLearning Limited at acquisition date in the consolidated financial statements of Upgrade My Skill Limited Group. 8 marks. Please note, round off all amounts to your nearest rand, show your calculations, and your answer must comply with IFRS.